Like those of this radio station, its parents, or related entities, agents, or employees.
If it feels like the world's gone a little crazy lately, you're not wrong. They say parents should have a voice. But what happens when no one's listening? Forget the noise, the narratives, and the nonsense. It's time to have real conversations, stand up, speak out, and shine a light on what's really happening inside our schools, our systems, and our government, and what it really means for your family. This is the Lindsey Beckham Show, where we believe in truth over talking points, facts over feelings, and the courage to say what others won't. Because when it comes to our kids, silence is not an option. Only in America, dreaming.
Welcome in to the Lindsey Beckham Show. Happy Tuesday, everyone. So glad that you could be with us today. It is a beautiful day outside, so hope everybody is staying cool because it is hot. We are live here in the WYAB studios, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and X. Of course, you can always find us on your FM radio dial 103.9, as well as the audio versions of all of our WYAB shows streaming worldwide at WYAB.com. You can call into the show today, 601-879-0002, or you can text in to the Lindsey Beckham Show text line. That number is 601-879-4648. Or you can join our online chat. Usually there's a few haters in there, but that's okay. They released the 2025 Southern Poverty Law Center hate map this morning. And guess what? I made it again. So we're going to celebrate that, because if you are on the opposite side of the SPLC, then you are doing something right, in my opinion. They are actually having a hearing right now in Congress where the SPLC was subpoenaed, and they are having to answer for a lot of the things that have happened because of their so-called hate list and hate map. But we'll get to that another, because we are joined by a special guest today, Miss Gina Archer. Hey there, Gina.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So you have a very special event coming up, and you have a very special story that led to your organization. So tell us about that.
Oh, well, Fight the Good Fight is our organization. It's a 501c3, and I have done equine therapy for years, since 1996. I was in college and went through the certification process. And since then, I've just grown in just experience and working with people, individuals, especially our youth and children, pediatrics, with that had cognitive disabilities or physical disabilities. But in 2015, I really had a heart for mental health, because it was really making the newsline. And I am a Christian, and I really felt the Lord say, this is the avenue I want you to take. So with mental health is also spiritual health. I am a Christian, and biblically based are our camps and retreats and things like that. But we had a farm in Purvis, Mississippi. If you don't know where that is close to Hattiesburg. So it's down south of us. And we, for 15 years, we had a equine therapy farm, and we worked with children from all the schools, and I would do community service hours with the high schoolers, and also field work with our colleges there, which is USM and William Carey, and then the junior colleges in that area. But my kids, I'm a mom of 4, and I hear you're a mom too. How many do you have?
5.
Mama. Oh my goodness, girl. You're busy, mama. But
never a dull moment.
I get it. But on our farm in Purvis, we homeschooled. So my kids, it was just an ordinary day when a school bus would pull up and it was kids on it, you know.
You just came from there, right? Did you just come out of the farm, or have you been with kids this morning?
Yes. Can you tell I have a ball cap on? I had 20 preschoolers here for a field trip. And tomorrow I have some elementary kids coming out for a whole morning. They stay 3 to 4 hours.
That's awesome.
And we do water play and all that. So I knew a baseball cap would definitely fit today.
I understand.
But with that, my kids were volunteers. I mean, they learned to love all people, because we had just a variety of people that would come out. Even the youth court would come, they would send boys out and women, young girls, to do community service and stuff. So they learned with mom and dad to love people where they're at, and not to judge, to love them. And so fast forward in 2020, I had my oldest daughter was playing soccer at East Central Community College. Okay. And my second born is Kari. She was wrapping up her senior year and led worship at Pine Lake Church at the Reservoir. She was involved there, but she also did Ballet Magnificat. And so it's real easy when we moved from Hattiesburg to Rankin County. Caden, our son, went straight into Hartfield, and he was ninth grade. I have a train coming by. We may want to pause. But as ninth grade, he played select soccer. So he came from a team that was very well established. And so when we got to Hartfield, Coach Benton said, absolutely, I want Caden on our team. And so Caden was a defender. So that's the back line. That's helping his boys. He's protecting that goal, and he's also helping
that ball out of there.
Yes, and Caden has such an amazing talent. When he was on that back line, he could see the field, okay? He could see up ahead, and he was a communicator. My husband is an amazing communicator, so he got it honest, and he was just like talking. He would see plays from the opponent before it was even happening, positioning-wise, and so he just had that voice on the field. He was a cheerleader by heart and an amazing athlete, but also Caden was so intelligent, like A student. He took all the advanced classes and wanted more. That's why in 8th grade, I knew I was done homeschooling. He needed to be challenged, but Hartfield made it easy. And so he went to Hartfield and played soccer and enjoyed that season. And then Holmes Community College, which is right there in the Ridgeland area, saw him practice, and they met Brad and I. Caden was he was under, he was a minor. So the coach waited for Brad and I, after a game and approached us. And he's like, I like your son. Would he come to Holmes? And so that was the transition we made. So Caden played for Holmes a semester, and then some friends were going to San Antonio at Northwest Community College. And so that coach said, come on, he watched Caden, his skill on the field. And so Caden went for a year and at Northwest Community College in San Antonio. And all the boys called it Tobyville, which that's over there by Oxford. So, and this is actually the hat. And on the back, it has Caden's number, which is 13, and it has Gina Archer on the back of my hat. But the cool thing about 13, I want to clear up its reputation. In the Hebrew, it means love. So 13, think about it, because the enemy's going to distort love stuff, And so, but number 13 means love. So I thought that was kind of cool, and I did a little research there. But to fast forward, at Northwest Community College in September of 23, okay, Brad and I were there. We were at a game, and Caden went down. And I was like, Brad and I looked at each other. It was ACL. Well, it was ACL, MCL, and meniscus. So 3 tears to the knee. So that kind of put him out as far as his soccer career. And he had a heart to join the Marines. And that was something really cool. Caden, by heart and even spiritually, was a rescuer. So he was going to see the kid that was different or left out. He was drawn to them. And his friends at Hartfield, he was not really a football guy, but his friends talked him into it. Coach let him. So he did get to play a little football, but he was on the sideline a lot, because he wasn't a key player in that football. Soccer, football, yes, he was always on the field. But it was so sweet because the coaches' kids would hang out with Caden. He wasn't somebody to push a child away, and think about it. It made my heart smile because what did Jesus say? Let the little children come to me.
And they can sense that. I'm sure those kids could sense
Oh my
that.
goodness. They loved him. And so I would sit there and go, man, this is better than watching him on the field. Mom was like, yay. So anyway, but after that injury, Caden was trying to finish up, but with the knee injury, he ended up coming home. He stayed until about November. And then we got involved with performance therapy. Spencer is here in Brandon. He's the owner there. And he worked with Caden. And even a few days before Caden passed, he called Brad and he said, your son is so remarkable. And it reminds me of a practice jersey that Caden had from Hartfield, all in. Jesus is calling us to be all in. At Caden's homecoming, at his funeral, I got up on the platform. Each one of us spoke. We just wanted to give Jesus all the glory, at a very painful, shocking moment, because we didn't know how Caden passed. We thought maybe aneurysm. We didn't know. But all in, and I just got up there on the mic, and I was like, God, what do you want me to say? And I looked. We had 500 people, if not more, standing room only. And I said, Jesus just wants to invite us all in, because there was a lot of soccer players from even preschool age all the way to his college buddies on the field, coaches from all over that were connected with Caden's career. And I just said, Jesus is inviting us to be all in. He doesn't want us performing. He just wants our heart, Yeah. And I'm so thankful that Jesus had my heart before Caden died, because it's been my rock. Jesus had my heart, and he still has my heart. I've never been offended with the Lord. And and my husband, even the day after, as he gathers our family, being that dad, that leader, saying, guys, he even said it on the mic at the funeral, the Archers will not be offended.
I say that a lot, that I don't know how people make it through tragedies when they don't have that hope.
And not only hope, he's our living hope. And I just want to encourage, I'm going to get back to Caden's story and how, what happened. But I'm telling you, I'm so thankful for Jesus being our rock. Even my daughters, even at the time, Kinsley was 11 years old. She got on the mic. Now, her sister Kari is a shepherd by heart. We are both shepherds. Kelsey, our oldest, and Brad, who's the oldest brother, he's the daddy. He's the oldest brother, though, of 5 sisters and a brother. They have that firstborn trait, and they're leaders, they're teachers. That comes naturally. Where Kari, our secondborn, even Caden carried a mixture, but Caden was a shepherd. He wanted to make sure everybody was okay. And that's how Kari, she stood there by her little sister while she just shared a story about Caden, and give glory to Jesus, because he gave us that strength. But I'm going to fast forward. So September is when the injury happened. Okay, we're going to backtrack. Sorry.
Hold that thought. We're going to hold that thought. We're going to go to a commercial break, and then that'll be a good place to pick up on the other side of this break. So y'all stay with us, because I want y'all to hear this family story, because it's so important. And there's a big event coming up this Thursday evening, and I'm going to let Gina tell you all about that. But y'all stay with us. We're going to be right back here, WYAB 103.9, the Lindsey Beckham Show. Don't go anywhere.
No. Lindsey. Is it good? Is it good? Okay.
Keep it tuned here to 103.9 WYAB.
When it comes to protecting all the things that matter in your world, generations of folks in central Mississippi have trusted Allstate agent Mark Dwyron. Mark knows the right coverage with the right price helps you feel secure and protected. For decades, Mark's been a trusted agent protecting you against mayhem that is unpredictable. And he's always just a moment away when you need him. Mark Dwyron. For auto, home, life, and more, you're in good hands with Allstate. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability.
Americans for Prosperity is Mississippi's and the country's leading grassroots organization dedicated to promoting economic freedom and personal liberty. Americans for Prosperity advocates for limited government, free market policies, and empowering individuals. When given freedom and opportunity, Americans are capable of extraordinary things. If you are ready to make a difference in our community and want to get involved, then visit americansforprosperity.org. Be a part of positive change at americansforprosperity.org. Paid for by Americans for Prosperity.
Every night, thousands of Mississippians gather around the radio to follow the hottest team in baseball, the Atlanta Braves. And the voice leading the way? Madison's own Ben Ingram. Local roots, a winning team. If your business wants to connect with loyal, engaged listeners all season long, there's still time to become a Braves broadcast sponsor on WYAB. To learn more, email info@wyab.com. It costs a lot less than you think. That's info@wyab.com.
Hey, this is John with MES. That's Mississippi Energy Services. We sell, service, and install all makes and models of home and business generators. One thing that we do different than a lot of other companies is we do all the work ourselves. We don't use subcontractors. We go from the original estimate, the design, to the final product. That way we can control the quality of the job from the beginning to the end. We are online at msenergy.us.
Hey, this is Ben Ingram from the Braves Radio Network. We're in commercial right now, so I want to let my sister take over and tell you about Hometown Property Group.
Thanks, Ben. This is Mary Claire Putman with Hometown Property Group. Whether you're buying or selling, we are committed to guiding you through your real estate transaction with integrity, exceptional service, and remarkable results. Madison County has been my home for 40 years. I'd love to help make it yours, too.
That's Hometown Property Group. Give them a call at 601-853-6080.
Attention citizens, the call is going out across all of 103.9 WYAB. Each Tuesday from 9 to 10 a.m., General Bob's Swap Shop summons all able-bodied listeners to buy, sell, and trade. Sign up by calling the phone line and joining the campaign where your stuff becomes the hero of the hour. No shillings, no coins, no enlistment fees of any kind to peddle your personal items. Report for duty each Tuesday at 9 a.m. right here on 103.9 WYAB. General Bob needs you and your stuff.
Discover history like never before at the American Military History and Antique Show, celebrating 250 years of freedom. Join us Saturday, June 13th and Sunday the 14th at Brandon City Hall for living history displays and over 20,000 square feet of military memorabilia. Shop 300 tables of unique Father's Day gifts and enjoy food, family fun, and more. Admission is just $10. Kids 10 and under free. Proceeds benefit Wounded Warriors of Mississippi. Learn more at scb265.com.
From Mississippi, where faith, family, and freedom still matter. This is the Lindsey Beckham Show.
Welcome back into the Lindsey Beckham Show. We are live here in the WYAB studios. We are joined live by Miss Gina, and she is telling us her son's story that I think is just so important for everyone to hear. And he had gone to college, he was playing soccer, he had a knee injury, and he had come back home. And Gina, I'll just let you pick it up right there.
Okay. All right. So he came home. And so the beautiful thing, we had Caden home those last few weeks, and that's such a gift from the Lord. But he got to see his younger sister she was on a swim team at the time. And also she did vocals. So he got to see her perform December the 10th in 2023. Guess what song she sang? The Goodness of God. You can look up CeCe Winans. Everybody sing, there's many artists now, but I remember that song carried my heart. We would sing it at Pine Lake, and girl, it was such a sacrificial praise because boy, it was so hard to sing that song, but I'll get to that point. But worship has carried my heart Because when we worship the one true God, our attention, our affection is on the one that can carry our heart. Because nothing in this world can carry us. Not even our, not our spouse. As you know, you're a widow. So you have to look up for that strength. So I just wanted to encourage you. You're doing a great job.
Well,
And you're beautiful, Lindsay. You're so beautiful.
You're so sweet. I say all the time, my sister, my only sibling was actually my half sister. She was 7 years older than me, born on the same day. She was actually murdered in South Jackson back in 2009. And I learned the wrong way to grieve. And so when I lost my husband, Brad, I knew I hit my knees in that moment. And my first thought was, you know how not to do this.
Yeah.
So you're just going to have to hand it all over right now. Because there's no way that you can do this on your own. So I feel like that, obviously my sister's life mattered and she had a drug addiction, but having to have gone through that really prepared me for what I was going to go through in the future.
Yes. Wow, you have quite a testimony, girl. Wow.
As do you.
So we go to that December. Caden was present, we just got to enjoy having him home. And so let's go to December the 21st of 23. We went to Nashville. And you got to understand, a mom with kids, and mom and dad, I'm going to speak with Brad too, but it's something that mama heart, it's like, wow, have all my kids under one roof, because big sister had gotten married. Second born sister was engaged, and Caden was present for the first wedding and the engagement party for Kari, but he missed, he wasn't there for the second wedding, and that's hard. And now he's not here for the births of his nieces, and those are tough moments. But anyway, we went to Nashville. We had so much fun, Lindsay. I just like, God, you're so amazing to get, that is such a gift. We were all together. Well, we come home on the 23rd of December. Okay. Now Caden he was so dedicated to the gym. He was dedicated to the gym before the injury, and you can bank on it. He was dedicated after the injury. He's like, I'm playing again, like easy.
Okay. Probably more so after the injury. He's going to heal himself and get back out there.
He was so motivated. He had so much drive. But so anyway, it was the 23rd. Caden said, Mom, I want to go to the gym. And Garrett and Kelsey, Garrett's our son-in-law, they lived in Terry, Mississippi at the time because he was a youth pastor. But he was also the interim pastor, senior pastor, because they were in a transition. So he was filling in for that role too. So they drove to Terry, and they were going to come back, the next day, Christmas Eve. But he preached. Christmas Eve was on Sunday. Okay, so he was preaching that next morning. So they went, Caden's at the gym. Kari and Kinsley, my youngest, Kari's our second born, we went to finish stockings. I love stockings. My husband gets on because I spend more money on the stockings than probably the gifts, but I love doing that.
That's the most fun part, the little knickknacks.
It is, yes. And it's fun watching them open, and just stuffing, their different little surprises, but some of the stuff that they wanted and asked for. So Kari, she was 19 at the time. We're driving. She says, Mom, life reveals the heart. What a profound thing. I said, what do you mean, Kari? And she's old enough now to see people who call themselves Christians, but they're not walking the walk. They truly haven't had a life encounter with Jesus, because once you have that, you don't want to get back to the world. I went into the world for 2 years in college, and oh my gosh, Jesus pursued me. He's like, this is not for you, Gina. This is not for you. And when he brought me back, girl, I came back on fire. And after Caden was promoted to heaven, there's a fire in me that's going to keep me burning until I see Jesus,
I love that, promoted to heaven. I love
that. Yes, because that's where, the Lord gives me dreams of Caden, and guess what he's doing? He's worshiping. Lindsay, he is worshiping, and the Lord is so kind. In the dream, Caden will look over at me and smile. And I'm going, no, I don't want to wake up. And
I bet.
Anyway, back to that conversation, Lindsay, my 19-year-old says, Mom, life reveals the heart. So she's seeing people fall away from the faith.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to go back to a verse that was tatted on Caden's arm. Pine Lake would always, every summer, and they still do, Louis Giglio, Passion. Do you know him?
Yes.
I went to his first Passion conference in 1998, and I was chosen to be an intercessor. I was a prayer person for Louis Giglio. He would not know who I am now, but in 98, I was right there.
You were there.
But he came back from Passion. He said, Mom, everybody's getting a tattoo. I said, what? I thought you went from Passion. I was like, I don't think everybody is, but his crew was getting like Hebrew names, Yahweh, and things like that. I said, okay, Caden, because his dad was not for it. He's like, Caden, because Caden would always come up with these splendid ideas. And so he just lived out of the box. Love him, miss him. But I said, if you were to get a tattoo, what are you going to put on it? He says, 1 Timothy 6:12. 1 Timothy 6:12. I have it on my arm. I got that his birthday last year. And it's the arrow for the Archer name. So 1 Timothy 6:12. And it's when Paul is giving his final word to Timothy. Okay, remember Timothy's known to be the young one. Okay. Mm-hmm. Paul is saying, Timothy, it's going to get hard. There's going to be disappointments. It's not going to look like you think. It's not going to be easy. Persecution. You're probably going to get persecuted and killed for the gospel, And so I knew that there were some temptations happening. We were raising up a boy, 16 years old, and our boys, our youth, our young women, man, what a world they have to navigate.
Yeah.
And they were making some choices that grieved my heart. I'm like, son, you know who you are. Don't go in the ditch with the friends that are making the bad choices. JC, the tow truck, that's Jesus Christ, pull them out of the ditch, but don't let them pull you in the ditch. So we had that, just navigating how to be a good parent through that. But I'm not a helicopter mom. I want to empower my kids. My kids know the truth. They grew up on it. Caden had the foundation of Jesus through and through, Right. Did he do some stupid things? Do we all do stupid things, Lindsay?
All of us.
No one is exempt.
No.
And so anyway, with that, Kari said that. And I was like, wow, Kari, well, do you know Pastor Chip Henderson allowed me to get on the mic? We buried Caden on a Friday, I think, if I remember correctly. That Sunday, I asked Pastor Chip, usually they screen it, it's on a monitor. And I said, Pastor Chip, you can trust my heart. You can trust me on the platform. I really have something I want to share. Mm-hmm. Well, they have satellite churches, but Jesus says, I want you to say it. I want you to say it. So I talked about being all in. It was the new year. It was, the new year was approaching, 2024. And I got to share being all in, but also life reveals the heart. No wonder Jesus says in the book of Psalms, it's David saying, search my heart, O Lord. Mm-hmm. See if there's any offensive thing in me. Amen. God's word is always saying, search your heart. Guard your heart above all else because it's the wellspring of life. Okay, I'm going to bounce. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
This is the 23rd. The 24th, we wake up as a whole family, Caden, Kari, Kinsley. We meet Garrett and Kelsey because remember, their intern pastor, he is. He preaches on the mercy and kindness of the Father. That's what propelled God to give his son was his mercy. We don't deserve it. And so we started out with that message and I'm just like, and my heart's still full. I got all my kids under the same roof. So I knew that I had grown kids. So girl, the reels, they were just kind of coming out really, so I came up with all these games. Our family is so stinking competitive. Even Caden with an injured knee, he was not letting his son-in-law win any of the games. But we had prizes. I was giving away cash. We had a great time. But we had Christmas. We went to church. We came home. We did steak. Caden, Garrett, our son-in-law, and Brad, grilled steak. And us girls, we put together all the sides. So we ate together. We played games together. We watched a movie together. We did gifts because at this time in teenage years, everybody draws a name. The siblings do. Brad and I still, would give theirs because, I'm a gift giver and I just love to give. So I kind of sometimes overgive, but I have a husband that's loving. So anyway, we did so at the end of the day, it was probably 8:00 p.m. Okay. Garrett and Kelsey, this is her first Christmas to have in-laws. And I'm like, y'all go. And that was Newton County. So it was just that 45-minute drive. And so they went to spend the night with Garrett's family. And Caden was like, Mama, can I go to the gym? It's 8:00 at night. I'm like, sure.
On Christmas Eve.
And so Brad's tired. He goes to bed. He had, remember we had just come in from Nashville. It was full. So Brad eases onto bed, and Kari and Kinsley and I turn all the lights off, and we're watching Chosen. And it's when it was a special where Mary is talking to Matthew, and Matthew is just recording Mary, okay, about the birth of Jesus, okay? And so we were watching that, glow of the TV, all the lights off, and Caden walks in. I'm like, Caden, you didn't work out very long, because usually it's a 2-hour thing, And he says, I'm tired. What time do you want me to wake up? And I said, how about 11? We've had Christmas. My mom, who we call Mamaw, she and her husband were coming over at noon. I said, just sleep in. I'll come in and wake you up at 11. And so he goes to bed. And the girls and I, Kari and Kinsley, we finish, and then they go to bed. And I remember, Lindsey, I went to Caden's room. I saw a light on. And I was going to go in and turn it off, but I didn't want to wake him up. But I began weeping with gratitude. Lord, I have everybody here. Now, Lindsey, let me tell you, he had already passed. We had no clue. I entered the most livid nightmare Christmas morning when I went to wake him up and he was not with us. My heart was already in a state of gratitude. And that's where that Brandon Lake song, oh, my soul, don't you get shy on me, lift up your, song. We've got a lion inside of these lungs. Girl, it is praise and worship that is inside of our lungs. It gives us the oxygen to say, Jesus, I'm saying yes again today. But we were so shocked, Lindsey. It was shock. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Losing a child, it's the biggest blow ever.
It's my biggest fear.
You know what?
Mortified.
I get it, girl. And you lay it down. You be honest with Jesus. And I want to speak to the parents, because Brad and I, on our journey as parents, we would see people who were having to walk this out that we're walking out. And I remember getting Rick and Bubba were when Caden was 2, we were moving on our farm in Purvis, and it had a swimming pool. And I remember being so terrified of Caden drowning. And so, because Bubba or Rick, I think it was Rick and Bubba, the Rick and Bubba show.
Yeah.
One of them lost a 2-year-old. I think it was Rick Burgess, pretty sure. So here we are. This happens. I'm listening and I'm grieving because I felt like I knew Rick Burgess, because I was Brad and I watched and listened to their shows. And I remember saying, Jesus, I give you this fear. And I'm telling you, girl, you have to be gritty.
Yeah.
I'm going to call the grit. You have a savior that's grit. He's a true grit savior. For him to go through the cross, what he did for us, we have grit inside of us if we have Jesus. Okay? Amen. He's going to help us face the hard things in life. But I remember, Lindsey, I wrote above the door that went to the pool, he leads me beside still waters. I got chalk and I put it, and that verse stayed for 12 years until we moved out from that house.
But, I love that. I love that. That's perfect. We got to take a break. We got to take a break.
Okay.
When we come back, I want you to tell us about what's happened since losing your precious son and what you've done with that. Y'all stay with us. There's a lot more to get to. We'll be right back here. WYAB 103.9. I'm going to compose myself in commercial break. We'll be right back to the Lindsey Beckham Show.
Okay.
We'll be right back to the Lindsey Beckham Show.
103.9 WYAB.
Hi, Kim Wade here. Hot weather requires us to run the AC nonstop. Pure Air Consultants can inspect your unit today to ensure your AC is operating at peak performance. Pure Air Consultants is your go-to Rheem partner that can get the job done and have you resting in comfort in no time. Locally owned and operated, they have proudly served our community.
Get fired up.
Contact
Not Gina. Gina done left the building.
PureAirConsultants.com. Rheem and Pure Air Consultants to the rescue.
When it comes to protecting all the things that matter in your world, generations of folks in central Mississippi have trusted Allstate agent Mark
Archer.
Mark knows the right coverage with one price helps you feel secure and protected. For decades, Mark's been a trusted agent protecting you against mayhem that is unpredictable. And he's always just a moment away when you need him. Mark Dwyron. For auto, home, life, and more, you're in good hands with Allstate. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability.
This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Wayne Cabot. President Trump says the U.S. must respond after the downing today of a U.S. Army attack helicopter near the Strait of Hormuz. The president blaming Iran. The crew of two survived by the first use of a drone ship. Quoting President Trump, the United States must, out of necessity, respond to this attack. At the White House, ABC's Karen Travers.
When you look back over the last week at some of the comments the president has made about his red line for starting major combat against Iran again, it has shifted. We saw him say last week it would be deaths of U.S. service members, which of course did not happen here. And then over the weekend, the president said that if he didn't think he could make a deal or if it wasn't coming together quickly enough, then he would consider restarting those major strikes. Now, the president, though, at the same time, has also sounded very hesitant to go back down that route.
This is ABC News.
Looking for farm fresh produce, high quality local beef, dairy, and desserts? Look no further than the Farm Store in Flora. We've got the sweetest, juiciest fruits and vibrant vegetables from Two Dog Farms, plus premium beef, all from right here in the community. Whether you're cooking up a feast or just grabbing a healthy snack, the Farm Store has got you covered. Freshness you can taste, prices you'll love. Find us on Facebook at The Farm Store by Two Dog Farm.
Venable Glass is your local glass expert. Offering residential, automotive, and commercial glass, Venable Glass can do it all. Windshield repair, replacement of shower doors, mirrors, and everything in between. What sets Venable Glass apart from the rest? Unmatched reliability and customer service. Don't forget, tell your insurance company that you want to use Venable Glass. And remember, you do have a choice. Let Venable Glass work hard to earn your business. Call Venable's Ridgeland or Brandon locations today for a free estimate or visit venableglass.com.
Tired of the brutal Mississippi sun beating down on your ride or home? Lakeland Glass and Tint in Flowood has you covered. They specialize in professional window tint for cars, homes, and businesses using premium Expel film plus top-tier paint protection film, ceramic coatings, and full vehicle wraps. Change your truck's color or turn it into a rolling billboard without an expensive paint job. Get a free quote today at LakelandGlassandTint.com. That's LakelandGlassandTint.com. Lakeland Glass and Tint, Central Mississippi's tint and wrap pros.
What are people saying about Tom's Fried Pies in Richland?
I'm on a diet. I don't want to be down there at Tom's Fried Pies. We had a good time. When I tell you the crust was flaky, I'm talking about buttery. This was nothing like I've ever tasted. Ever. I mean, I've never tasted anything like that, man. It was nice. Atmosphere was nice. Everybody there. Even though I don't.
Jesus to the top.
I thoroughly enjoyed myself.
Tom'sFriedPies.com. Tom'sFriedPies.com.
Friday mornings at 9 is a great time to chill with us here at 1039 WIAB. It's the Blues and Arts Hour, brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Mississippi, Small Town Music, and Fusion Coffee House. I'm Chris Davis, your host. You'll hear from people who play, write, and live music from Mississippi artists and creators. And you'll also get to sample some of their work. And it's every
We
Friday
need to
morning.
talk about our sponsors on this one.
WIAB.
Welcome back into the Lindsey Beckham Show. We are live here in the WYAB studios, and we are joined by Miss Gina Archer from Fight the Good Fight, and she has been telling us her son's story, and I think it's so important, and I think every parent needs to realize that this is a very real situation happening across our country. You are the third person that I know. I have two other friends who have lost young sons, highly intelligent, educated, smart, successful. This doesn't discriminate, Gina. Doesn't discriminate. So I'm going to let you get out there.
So later we found out how Caden passed. Okay, the nightmare happened Christmas morning. I won't get into that, but we had to wait 2 to 3 weeks before we even knew what the toxicology said, because we honestly thought maybe it was a heart attack, you know. And I had given him a new protein powder. I lived with the fear for 3 weeks. That was the new thing that he put in his body. And so anyway, when the toxicology report came, Brad and I were like, what? Fentanyl? You know, we just weren't educated. You know, and it was ended up, we find out that some friends at the gym gave him a Percocet. That's a pain pill. What we've learned on our journey with educating ourselves, because I'm like, Lord, this is a platform. I'm going to be a trumpet. I'm going to sound the alarm. And I remember the Lord, one day I woke up and I remember telling Pastor Chip Henderson and the pastoral staff there, Houston, we have a problem. Mississippi, U.S., world, whatever it is, Rankin County, whatever, stick it in there. We have a problem because these kids, easy access, Snapchat, okay? They can make a transaction right there in a parking lot, in the church bathroom, in the school, wherever. It's just a pill. They're just slipping it.
One pill.
And so, yes. And now the true enemy is so crafty, they're making it look like candy. So now the true enemy, Satan himself, is targeting our elementary kids. And so these drug dealers, they pay these high schoolers, junior high, to do the dirty work.
Yeah.
Okay. And so as I'm traveling across Mississippi now, and I've partnered with Lynn Fitch's office, our attorney general, I want to brag on them because people need to know what they're doing. And I have a statistic in 2025, it went from 258 Mississippi deaths to 96.
That's
huge.
very impressive. I'm sure a lot of the rest of the country, it's increasing.
And so what they have done, they have these fentanyl harm preventative kits. And our event, that's Thursday, they're going to come out. They're going to set up a booth for educational. They have material-free kits to give. You know, we need these kits because you never know. You could be at a gym, you could be at a business, a park, and somebody that has overdosed by accident. Caden's was an accident. No one knew.
Absolutely. I mean, he took one pill. Of course, he's had this knee injury, and he's taking a pain pill. And you just, my friend Ann lost her son Weston, and he was explaining to me how tiny, such a tiny amount is enough to kill a horse.
Yes, we're talking a grain of salt. And through my journey of educating myself, they used to use fentanyl to euthanize elephants. Think of the human body. We can't withstand it. I mean, and I'm going to shout out that open border flooded our country with it.
Amen.
And I'm so thankful we have an administration. They are fighting the good fight for families, for individuals, for moms and dads, for this new generation that's coming up, because it's so deceptive,
It is. And parents, do not think it cannot happen to you.
That's right.
Do not think it cannot happen to you. Again, it does not discriminate.
Yes. I'm part of a mom's group, Lindsay, called Magnolia Mothers Against Fentanyl. And we travel together, we speak, we encourage one another. They have a big walk coming up in July 11th. And I'd be glad to come and talk with you about that event because I'm going to promote it. But we're bringing awareness and education, not just awareness. We need to be educated, of how this stuff looks. Percocet, Xanax, there's several other pills. It looks the same. So I want to bring some awareness real quick. So these drug dealers, they mix it in a Ziploc bag, shake it, and then press it with a pill press that looks just like the real thing, but it's counterfeit and it's mixed, and you never know.
Pill online, it's going to look like what the online version tells you it is, even though it's laced with something that can kill you.
Yep. And when Caden's friend came to me right before Caden's birthday's August. He came to me end of July. We were Caden's first birthday in heaven. We had the mustard seed come out because we love individuals with, we just love them. We love the mustard seed. And, but my kids, I was like, you know what, let's just do something fun. So we ordered this huge water volleyball thing. The fire department had to come fill it up because it was so much water it needed. And we did volleyball with mustard seed residents all out here. Brad had barbecue. We ate, we had all of his friends, all of our family, and we had a celebration. And I know my Caden, if the Lord allows the saints to just, the Bible talks about there's a great cloud of witnesses. If our son is in that, if he's being allowed, I don't know, heaven is just one of those mysteries, but I know Jesus is present. And Caden's name means in thy presence is the fullness of God. Wow.
Yeah.
He's enjoying and feasting on the fullness of God, where we all are headed as believers. We're all headed there. And that's where I try to park my thoughts. I park my thoughts like, Caden, you have a balcony seat and you're getting to see all of this heavenly activity your family's partaking in,
Yeah. My friend Leah and I, we say a lot of the time that we believe wholeheartedly that God allows things to happen to certain children of moms that he knows are not going to stand for it. That they're the moms of these children are going to pick up and fight back.
Yes.
And I think that's just so true. And I see what you're doing and other moms who have lived this experience as well. We got to take our last commercial break, Gina, but I want to give us enough time on the other end for you to be able to tell people how to come Thursday night.
Yes.
Y'all stay with us. We're going to be right back here. The Lindsey Beckham Show, WYAB 1039. We'll be right back. We'll be right back.
You guys good?
WYAB.
Americans for Prosperity is Mississippi's and the country's
I'm
leading.
just rolling.
Most
She's so natural. She's fun.
advocates for limited government, free market policies, and empowering individuals.
Melanie Christopher made it fun last week.
Capable of
So will
extraordinary
Walt Grayson be the guy who's interviewing tomorrow?
To get involved, then
Since
visit
that's his show.
AmericansForProsperity.org. Be a part of positive
Is he
change
back?
at AmericansForProsperity.org. Paid for by Americans for Prosperity.
Hi, Kim Wade here. Hot weather requires us to run the AC nonstop. Pure Air Consultants can inspect your unit today to ensure your AC is operating at peak performance. Pure Air Consultants is your go-to ring partner that can get the job done and have you resting in comfort in no time. Locally owned and operated, they have proudly served our community for over 22 years. Contact Pure Air Consultants today at mypureairconsultants.com. Ream and Pure Air Consultants to the rescue.
At Flora Animal Hospital, our team doesn't just take care of your pet's needs. We feel like it starts with the pet parents. If the pet parent is informed thoroughly and understands the situation with the animal and why certain things need to be done or certain medications need to be given, it's easier to get that done. Our website is floraanimalhospital.com. It'll take you straight to the online store where your medicine can be purchased, food can be purchased, prescription or non-prescription, and they will be shipped straight to your front door. floraanimalhospital.com.
Even with interest rates higher than recent norms, real estate values are still holding strong in Mississippi. We caught up again with one of Mississippi's top real estate agents, Shane Saxon, to explain his recent activity in the market.
In the last year or so, it's been the best of my career. Interest rates have been high, but the real estate market is here to stay. Land values especially are continuing to rise. Home values are holding. If you need help with anything in real estate, just give me a call.
Find Shane Saxon on Facebook or give him a call at 601-540-5040. Offer property 601-724-1435.
Smart business owners will tell you the best time to start a new business is now. Whether you're thinking of starting a new business or expanding an existing one, the perfect location is the Cotton Exchange Plaza in Flora. Over 13,000 cars will pass by your business each and every day on Highway 49. Space is available now, so what are you waiting for? Call the Cotton Exchange Plaza at 601-879-3503 to find out how you can expand your business today. The Cotton Exchange Plaza in Flora, where we mean business.
Health has always been reactive, focused on fixing problems as they happen. But with Blue Primary Care, we're taking a proactive approach, working with you to help you understand your health and empowering you to be healthy. It's time to prioritize you, your health, and your life. The results? Less worrying and more living. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi. It's good to be blue.
Here's what they're saying about Corcoran Door Company.
I'm going to yell out to one of your sponsors here, Corcoran Door. When the guy came out here, instead of just trying to throw a door up, he was looking at the way the house was facing. Man, with this double garage here on the south side, you might want to consider a insulated door. I came in earlier today about 2:30. At 99 degrees. The thermometer inside the garage was 82.
That's why they've been around 50 years.
Yeah.
Corkanddoor.com. CORKERN door.com.
Welcome back into the Lindsey Beckham Show. We're live here in the WIAB studios, and we have been talking with Gina Archer from Fight the Good Fight. Gina, you have a very special event coming up Thursday evening. Tell us the details about that. How can people get there?
Okay. So this Thursday, Fight the Good Fight. And just to cap this off, remember Caden's tattoo is 1 Timothy 6:12. That's where the name Fight the Good Fight comes from, okay? And we're just encouraging families to keep saying yes. When life gets hard, we have an amazing Savior, you know. It's way more than that, but we use equine therapy and retreats and stuff with Fight the Good Fight. I speak at schools, churches, youth groups. But anyway, this Thursday, our keynote speaker at our farm, it's our first fundraiser event. We're very excited. But Lynn Fitch will be our keynote speaker. And we're going to have food, live music, and our team has been so incredible. We have so many gifts for our raffle and our auction, and we just want bring the family. We'll have our animals and stuff will be here because we live on a farm, but bring the family
at your farm, at your family
at our farm, and that's 514 North Street, Brandon 39042.
And that's what time Thursday night?
6:30 on Thursday.
And again, Attorney General Lynn Fitch, keynote speaker there, because she has been such a advocate for stopping fentanyl from getting into the hands of our children.
Yes. And so, but yeah, come out and bring a friend. I want to bless Lynn Fitch and say, look, we're serious about this. You know, but also come support what we're doing, support Fight the Good Fight. We do have some future expansion ideas that we want. We know that we have partnered with Batson Hospital and the Children's Hospital. We want to set up, Caden loved the books, Boxcar Children. So we live by a train track. Picture this. Can you box cars that corporations come in and they sponsor it, and it's going to be little retreat cabins. So when life gets hard, there's retreats here, kind of like an Airbnb, but not, because we want it sponsored. You know, when families are going through hell on earth, they don't need another bill to pay. We just want to love on them. We want to encourage them. Keep saying yes. I know it's hard right now, but keep saying yes. So,
Gina, we have a comment in the live stream, and I want to let you respond to this because I think you would have a perfect response to this. But Wayne Schultz says, I haven't been persuaded with convincing evidence to believe in God. What would you say to Wayne?
Wow. Hello, Wayne. Thanks for listening today. I would say the thing that really speaks to me, when I was in college, I was a missionary in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And it's something about nature. It displays God's glory. And I want to say this, Wayne, and I'm not preaching at all, just sharing my story. I am evidence that there's a God who's full of compassion for my heart. We are in a spiritual battle. And the Bible, God gives us so much knowledge and wisdom. It says the true enemy is here to steal, kill, and destroy. In an army, good soldiers get killed. Okay? And I know that God wasn't the author of what Caden did that night. And his friends, we love them. We love those friends, because I told, when his friend came to me and said, Miss Gina, I'm the one that gave him the pill. I said, you know what? I want you to see mercy right now. This is mercy. I forgive you, because I know the true enemy is not you. And so we have a merciful Father. Mercy is what led him to send his only son, Jesus Christ. That's what sets our religion. I'm not religious. I'm in a relationship with the living God. But if you look at all the other gods people worship, our God is the only one who sent his son to die for us through his son Jesus. And I know if you look at that and go, wow, what God would do that? Well, blood had to be shed. And I know when you look at it, I just encourage you to read the book of John, get in the Gospels, because you're going to see the heart of the Father, our Creator. And Wayne, I don't know if that helps. You can call me up. You can come out to our farm, and we'll sit down and drink coffee or sweet tea or whatever you like and just talk, because I get it.
And yeah, that was the hardest thing for me to explain to my older girls who were 5 and 7 when my husband passed is why would God let this happen? And to explain to them that sin came into the world. It's hard to understand, and it's hard to wrap your mind around. But again, at the same time, when you're able to live through those types of tragedies, wake up every morning and still get up and still profess your faith and still have something to live for. I mean, I think that's evidence of Jesus Christ right there.
Yeah. Just open up the gospel. Seriously, put away all the other. Just get to know. And something I taught my kids to do, and myself, when we open up the scripture, he's the author. And I'm like, Lord, you're the author. You've sent your Holy Spirit to be our teacher. Open the eyes of my heart so I can read this. And Brad and I taught our children that when you open up your devotion, when you open up God's word, you're inviting the living God to take a seat with you as you read. Don't just read it to read it, or it's just like a novel. You invite the living God, the one who says, I am the great I am. I am the author and finisher of our faith. I am close to the brokenhearted.
Save those who are crushed in spirit.
Yes. I wanted to share this with you. I have a group of widows that come out. One day we need to just have some time with Lindsey.
I would love that. Well, you got me emotional through this whole show, but I would absolutely Love that.
Yes. And we have glamping tents. And so I want to do some type in the fall when it gets cooler, not in the Mississippi summer, but to have like a time where you guys come and we just fight the good fight, just loves on you. I mean, we are tucked in at the end of North Street. As Mayor Butch Lee says, Gina, you're at the beginning in North Street. I'm like, okay. But I love that because what does the scripture say? That we're the head and not the end. Tail, and we're above and not beneath. So anyway, we would love, I just want to speak to anybody that's going through a hard time, reach out to us. We're going to be having some retreats coming up in the fall. I am taking somewhat break in July because my grandbaby number 2 is on the way in 4 weeks. I have a 1-month-old baby, beautiful baby granddaughter, our oldest, Kelsey and Garrett. They have their first child, and she just graduated from UMMC's occupational therapy school. So she's a doctor with that. And I get to be Gigi this fall and travel to Boca Chica twice a week. And then I'll be traveling to Hattiesburg to take care of the other one some during the week because both of my girls are working. Kari is actually a student leader at Temple Baptist Church in Hattiesburg. And she's loving on young women and just helping them navigate life and introducing them. I know you're
so proud. I know you're so proud.
I am. My kids are amazing. And Kinsley, our caboose, she's at Park Place Christian Academy and doing well. For 2 years, Lindsay, I'm bragging on the Lord. She was homeschooled. She was highest grade point average in her class. That's 7th grade and 8th grade. Go Jesus, right?
Absolutely.
And then Kelsey was a 4.0 in med school. So go Jesus.
Incredible.
Isn't that fun? They worked their tail off. I'm not just saying go Jesus. My girls worked for it. And Kari also honor student. So
mom did something right with the homeschooling.
And their daddy.
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you, Lindsay, for having me.
Absolutely. I'm just honored that you were able to come on and talk with us. It's a story that absolutely should be shared from every end of the earth, in my opinion. And I just look at you in awe of being able to do what you're doing in the wake of the tragic beauty from ashes.
Yeah, amen. That's it.
And so I'm looking forward to seeing you Thursday. I'm going to come out.
Yay!
Looking forward to it. And I hope that everyone else can get out as well. I'm going to put the flyer in the comments of the live stream so that if anyone is looking for that information, they'll be able to find it. Gina, you're incredible.
Oh, you're incredible too, girl. Love you. Bye.
Love you. All right, we'll see you soon.
Okay, bye.
I'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. I'll see you then.